Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is I have information confirmed that Iran and Iraq are both going to be, matter of fact, also North Korea. I didn't put that in the title, but that's also one of them. North Korea, Iraq, Iran, and North Korea are going to be part of the coalition of nations that is going to be attacking America one day. I'm going to start with two dreams that are confirmed. Both of them are from Vicki Parnell. The first one, America is angering Iran. And what they're doing is tempting Iraq to attack Iran, according to Hal Turner. He says years ago when the U.S. went into Afghanistan to fight the Taliban, the U.S. government seized about first of all, it wasn't the U.S. government. It was the Molochs that controlled the banking system, okay? The U.S. government seized about $7 billion of Afghan money that was in the U.S. financial system. We hold that money to this very day. You know, we're so corrupt. Tonight, my former colleagues in the intelligence community from the years working with the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force confirmed to me that the United States just offered the Taliban, that would be Iraq, a full release of that $7 billion if, and here's the condition, if the Taliban increases its military hostilities against neighboring Iran. In other words, they're paying Iraq to attack Iran. Now, yes, I know these two nations have been at war for a long time, but it may be the hand of God that he's about to turn both of them against America. I'm going to show you the Bible that I've been saying for a long time. Iraq would be one of the nations that attacks America, and I've been saying that from these particular scriptures. So you go to Isaiah 13. Now, I'm going to back up and prove to you it's talking about America. We already know and understand that in, Revelation 18, Jeremiah 50, 51, Isaiah 13, 21, and 47, all of those 6 chapters, when it says Babylon, it's actually talking about America. Okay, so it says, the burden of Babylon, skip to verse 4, the noise of a multitude in the mountains like a great people, in other words, many people coming to attack America, a multitude in the mountains as a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations, not just nations, kingdoms of nations, a coalition, many, many, many people, many nations, are gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. So God is gathering our enemies to take us down because America has spit in God's face. God raised up America from a nothing. We were a nothing. We weren't a nation. We had no kingdom. We had no land. We were nothing. And he gathered us into our land, and he raised us up, and as Daniel chapter 7 says, and he gave us a heart. He made us a nation that was not a nation, and then we have turned our back on him. We've walked away. Let's go on. They come from a far country, from the end of the heaven, into the Lord, the weapons of his indignation, to destroy the whole land. So when I say God is mad at America, all I'm doing is changing the words, because it says right here, the weapons of his indignation. Almost with that exception, when the Bible uses that word indignation, it's talking about specifically Armageddon, specifically and generally also talking about the fall of America. Behold, the day the Lord cometh, that is the battle of Armageddon, on the Feast of Trumpets, the very last day when Jesus returns. The day the Lord comes. Now, right now, if you were to ask most prophecy students, do you think that the end is close? Yes. Do you think we're in the tribulation? Many would say yes. Do you think we're very close to Jesus returning? Yes, 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 yes. So when it says the day the Lord cometh, it's right on. It's exactly what it's saying. Cruel, both with wrath. Now, wrath means God is angry at us. So you could say, yeah, God's mad at America. With wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. He didn't say he destroys all people. He removes the sinners. Now, of course, the pre-tribbers want to say, oh, no. He's going to remove the pre-tribbers first. No, that's not what it says. He destroys the sinners thereof out of it first. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through. Everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children all shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes, and their houses spoiled, and their wives ravished. That's what an evil nation will do that used to be a Christian nation that turned against God. Behold, I will stir up the Medes. Now where it says Medes, go look it up. Medes is the nation of Iraq. The Medes against them, that shall not regard silver, and for gold they shall not delight in. In other words, when Iraq comes to attack America, they're not coming because they're planning on stealing gold and silver. They're coming because they hate America for what America did to Iraq. They hate America because they hate our God that we have turned away from. So because we've turned away from Jesus and they hate Jesus, then we are the closest thing to it, and they are coming because we used to be a nation that followed Jesus. Their bows shall also dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb, and their eye shall not spare the children. And Babylon, okay, well, people would say, oh, this is not talking about America. Oh, yeah, well, ask anybody. What's the greatest nation on the face of the earth right now? They'll say America. If you ask them, what's the greatest nation in human history that we know of? Most of them will say America. Okay, so when it says the glory of the kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, what's it saying? It's saying the greatest nation on earth. Okay, so these scriptures say that Iraq will attack America, and they come to kill, steal, and destroy with great pleasure, not to just take gold and silver. Now, this is a new dream. This comes from Vicki Parnell, and I also believe this is of God. This dream was in the form of a picture book whose page would turn as I was reading. Two half-brothers lived in a faraway place, and they came from the same mother but had different fathers. The mother's name was called Mesopotamia. She had 5 sons named Iraq, Iran, Syria, Kuwait, and Turkey. But it was Iraq who was the child who laid claim to the majority of his mother's name. This dream is about Iraq and his half-brother Iran. Now, what this is telling you is from the eyes of God, how God is looking down on Iraq and Iran and what he's about to do to bring the both of them down to attack America, his wonderful favorite nation that has spit in his face. These 2 brothers out of the 5 had a closer relationship with one another at one time in this dream. Both brought together a common bond in the religion and their hatred for Israel. As time progressed, Iraq began to grow in knowledge, but because of his evil heart, he began to flourish in an ungodly and unholy way. Then she was shown a map on the wall which showed Europe and Asia. The brothers turned into countries. Each country was making healthy progress in their growth, and some evil as well. As the time passed, the heart of Iraq became black and evil. He began looking into ways of destroying fellow men by making items of great destruction. Iran was doing much the same, but at a slower rate. Iraq built himself with a nuclear power and became aggressive to his neighbor nations and openly served his false god. He cursed anyone who didn't believe as he did. Iran watched his brother grow with his great envy, but he was wiser than his brother Iraq, realizing that there were other lands, other nations, who would take notice of his fast-growing power, that would step in if not careful. He privately tried to warn his brother Iraq because he saw the signs of trouble stirring against him, but Iraq wouldn't listen. Iraq kept building weapons of mass destruction, and if he had his way, he would use every one of them on Israel if he could. His hatred for Israel was fierce and greater than any he had had for any others. Iraq's intents to conquer came up before the nations. The iron fist of judgment came down, and he was stopped and stripped of all his powerful weapons he had and lovingly created out of his hate. Iran watched intently, but began secretly building nuclear-powered weapons. He built labs and testing sites above and beneath the ground that very few knew of. His work progressed speedily. Iraq looked on enviously because he was stripped and barren of the power. But he knew his God, Allah, had instructed him would once again allow him to rise from the ashes. He had produced some bioweapons not known to other leaders. I hope you're listening to that. Bioweapons not known to the other leaders in the world of those who had brought down their iron fist upon him. Meaning, Iran had some bioweapons that America didn't know about. He did not have the capability to make weapons of nuclear war, the land of the eagle, that would be America, had seen to this. He held great hatred for the land of the eagle, and Iran began advancing quickly, and those watching began to look on in concern. But things were not like before, when his brother Iraq had tried to conquer and display his power, because the judging nations were no longer friendly with one another. The land of the eagle and the bear had become alienated. Okay, that's when Biden took over and began to drive a wedge between the eagle and the bear. Probably happened before then, but for sure then. He knew this rift was deep, and because the great bear's leader himself had contacted him in a plan to keep the wings of the land of the eagle. Soon, Iraq would sign his signature with many other lands to help the bear succeed to bring the land of the eagle, that would be America, down to fly no more above them. The eagle's land was no longer pure, but evil at heart, and now was unprotected by the God he served. I'll read that sentence again. The eagle's land was no longer pure, but evil of heart, and now was unprotected by the God he served. Right where we are right now with America. In exchange for his loyalty, Iran was given from the bear great technology to complete many of his weapons in progress, as well as an assurance he would use his brute strength and aid him in taking out those he hated the most, the land of Israel. But to do the latter part, he must get his brother Iraq to join his evil plan to clip the land of the great eagle's wings. Iran agreed and went to visit his brother Iraq, who was no longer a man of power, but destitute. Iraq accepted his brother's visit suspiciously, for although closer than other brothers, they both knew how unscrupulous each other was at heart. Iran spoke of the bear's said plan. Iraq listened intently, but then said, "For deals such as this, I must present a gift to the leader of the bear. What could I possibly give? Oh, but wait. I have many little goodies underneath the ground in my remaining hidden labs. I will present one of these to him." "Yes," Iran said, "that would be fitting. Who knows when this will come in handy for the bear as well as us?" "What benefits will I receive?" asked Iraq. "To better my possession. How can I be of help in such a task of taking down the land of the eagle when I have been stripped of most of the weapons of power?" "Speak to the bear's ruler. Here," Iran said, and as he gave the brother the number and the direct access code to get to him connected to the leader of the bear directly. Iraq eagerly took the information from his brother Iran, and after their now friendly visit, Iran returned home and Iraq contacted the leader of the bear. Verbal agreements were made. A deal with set and arrangements were made for the bear by way of underground through many tunnel systems. Okay, so we're talking about Iran, Iraq, and Russia are all working together through a lot of underground tunnel systems. And we've talked about this. They have technology to make a tunnel at about 5 miles an hour. Yeah, they make tunnels. Okay. Through many tunnel systems to begin supplying Iraq with battle equipment and technology to prepare them for the coming clipping of the great eagle's wings. As the years passed by, Iraq secretly built his own army vehicles and weapons, including hidden submarines that few knew about. Iran has almost reached above ground with the help of the bear. What he has accomplished below ground in his nuclear capabilities, Iraq is fast once again pursuing the course now. I woke from this dream. What does all this mean? Although I didn't see him, I heard his voice audibly, meaning the audible voice of God spoke to her. Many things occur out of sight of the natural eyes. I, though, see it all. Nothing is hidden from my constantly searching, roving eyes. Did I not say all that is hidden shall come to the light? I am the light source, and the prayers of my children has brought exposure to these such things. And that's another reason I'd recommend you go to prophecyclub.com. You can join up for Fast Track if you'd like to pray for Prophecy Club, or Fast Gap if you'd like to pray for America. And oh, by the way, we just discovered that there was a glitch in where people were signing up, some, 1,300 names, or 700 names, something like that, a lot of names. Went into limbo. We just discovered them. So now we gathered those names, and now we're going to start adding those to the proper email list. So If you subscribed and you haven't been getting emails, our apologies. And coming this next week, you should be getting them. Anyway, let's go on. The lands of Iraq and Iran, whose hatred for both my chosen land of Israel and your once great nation of America is deep. All know this, but because of this hatred that they have fed and nurtured other countless generations, their father Satan has brought them to a place to desire these weapons of nuclear mass destruction in hopes of one day using them on both Israel and your nation. Now, let me just say, there are 6 chapters in the Bible that says that God is going to destroy America. But there's a verse, maybe even 2, that says though the whole world comes down to attack Israel, it won't be successful. As a matter of fact, that's the reason Jesus returns at the Battle of Armageddon, is to put down all the nations of the world. And according to Ezekiel 38, about verse 6, God's going to put a hook on the jaw. In other words, he draws the Russians and all the other nations along with her down to attack Israel, where he is going to destroy them. His plan. Though all the nations of the world come down to attack Israel, they will not be successful. Israel never, ever loses another battle. They're never kicked out of the land, ever, ever, ever again. Now, with the aid of the bear, also loyal to Satan, they shall have their prayers for vengeance and hate answered. That which is hidden, I have brought to light for you to share and give warning. Iran's nuclear capabilities far exceed what your nation and Israel's intel have been given. Iraq is not as defenseless as he appears, either. The bear has been planning the destruction and the clipping of your nation's wings for many years. Putin, the leader of the bear, is crafty and sly. How else do you think he could have caused the world, in most parts, to think he was being forced into a war with the Ukraine because of your nation and NATO's involvement, when this has been the plan of the beginning, from the beginning, the start of the clipping in the wings of your nation, the eagle, from the start. Now, I have an idea. I think that this is NATO and America sending all of the weapons, all of the money to go over to help Ukraine to take away the weapons of NATO and America so Russia could come in and defeat them, and that's well down the road to happening. I understand, she says, what must I do? You do what I've called you to do. You warn. You raise the alarm. For if you do and the people pray, the severity of these things can be lessened. Again, that's the reason I want you to join Fast Gap, so we can pray for these things. But if not, then they shall fall upon your nation, ripping and shredding her with such a ferocity and intensity that a pack of ravenous wolves. Warn, my daughter, never stop warning. You shall be hated by many for your bold stand in me, yet loved as well. They hated me also, so do not let this cause you to falter. Time is short. Your nation's enemies stand at your door, ready to advance. I have brought these things to light. Now bring them to the people, and that they lay them before me in earnest prayer. Again, join. It's called Fast Track for Prophecy Club, Fast Gap to pray for America, prophecyclub.com. Just slide to the bottom, click and sign up. By the way, I never send product offers, and I never ask for donations. You can stop anytime you want to. We fast Tuesday evening midnight around to Wednesday afternoon at 4 p.m. Not a bad fast. We just ask you not to eat. You can have coffee and juice and things like that. Be sure and take your meds and don't hurt yourself, okay? Now, U.S. to hand over Iraq bases and equipment worth billions. I don't understand why someone isn't calling this Biden a traitor and everybody that's holding up his arms. Because according to Trump, we gave some $85 billion, probably some of our most advanced military equipment, over to Iraq. As a matter of fact, in searching for this particular article, I just typed in Iraq and something like military equipment given to Iraq. The very first thing popped up was American military equipment is for sale on eBay. That's right. You can buy abandoned American military equipment on eBay. I was shocked. So what really happened? What really happened is a Moloch is in charge of America, in charge of Iraq, in charge of Iran. Okay, this is the secret society, the 13 Illuminati blood families that have ruled the world probably since they were born. And it's the hand of God allowing them to take down his nation, America, his Christian nation, because we turned from him. So it says the Department of Defense is engaged in a mad dash to give away things that cost U.S. taxpayers billions of dollars to buy and build. Elaborate military bases, vast amounts of military equipment, construction costs exceeding $2.4 billion, $1.9 billion in base construction, $85 billion in equipment, Trump says. Why? Because the people in power, above everything except for they're below Jesus, have a plan to take out America, because America is the world's policeman that is holding them back from putting their man, the Antichrist, on the throne. Now let's go to North Korea. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago I read a dream from Vicki Goforth Parnell about Korea agreeing to join the coalition to attack America? Well, I'm going to start with confirmations of that, then I'll reread the dream. North Korea sacks top general, orders military to prepare for an offensive war. What do you think's going on? Well, without this dream from Vicki Goforth Parnell, we wouldn't exactly understand what's going on. Maybe they're just having a change, but now I understand it. What's going on is Korea is preparing full out, total. I mean, everything is, drop what you're doing. Everybody is going to start preparing for a war, and of course he's not telling them it's America yet, but we know. Just 1 week after Russia's Defense America Shoigu paid a state visit to North Korea, leader Kim Jong-un sacked his top general and ordered increases in weapons production. Did you catch that? So he got rid of a general, probably a general that was a little bit more of a peacemaker, and he said, so he orders increases in weapons production. At the same time, he gets rid of this top general. What happened? The top general didn't want to go and attack America, didn't want to build up, and so he tied a can to him. And instead, he's ordered increases in weapons production. Why? Because he wants to take out America. He ordered increases in weapons production, combat drills in preparation for an offensive war. The meeting also dealt with dismissing, transferring to other posts, or newly appointed some leading commanding officers, probably others that didn't go along with it. Kim analyzed the hostile situation on the Korean Peninsula and called for further stepping of the war preparations, in other words, Korea's People's Army, in an offensive way. He's preparing for war. Now, again, we wouldn't understand that, except for now we have this. North Korea and Russia agreed to use nuclear bombs on the United States. I read this a week ago. 3/26/23. With my eyes fully opened, I see a grand office with Vladimir Putin. He begins a video call. The video screen is about 8 by 10 inches, a private call. The device guarantees a secure call and translates the languages. The voice says, "What do you want, Vladimir Putin? Have you considered my proposal yet, Kim?" I see Kim Jong-un of North Korea on the screen. "I have, Vladimir. What's in it for me in North Korea?" Kim asks. "If you join my coalition and aid in the destruction of America, you will become a strong country with my help, with all of Mother Russia behind you. I shall give you more technology to advance your weaponry as well as your economy." Kim pauses and says, "Well, we have no love here for the United States. But what do you require of me, because I know you, Vladimir Putin? You do nothing without improving your position." Vladimir says, "Kim, you wound me with your words. Vladimir, this is the way of a good leader. Now tell me, if I join your coalition, what will you require of me and North Korea? I know you well, Vladimir. You do nothing without it being to your advantage somehow." Putin says, "I would require you to take control of South Korea, because if not, she will throw her support for the United States once we've struck." "That will not be easy," Kim said. Then he speaks again. "If I agreed to your coalition terms, then I would require something from you." Vladimir Putin isn't moved at all. It is almost as if he's expecting Kim Jong-un to ask for something. Then he spoke up and asked Kim quickly, "Something besides the generous offer that has already been given to you? What would this requirement be, Kim?" Kim's face, serious, said quickly, "I have promised the United States a Christmas gift. My gift is late. Late gifts can be sent at any time. My requirement is this. North Korea gets a turn at unleashing our nuclear weapons upon the American soils during the strikes before the invasion. If this requirement is met, then I will verbally agree to your coalition. I will sign it the moment you make your first strike with your nuclear and hypersonic weapons upon the United States. These are my terms and conditions. Putin's face spreads into a pure evil grin. Then he says, I like your style, Kim. By all means, join in the fun. You could be given a slot on the 3rd. Kim Jong's face broke into a huge grin, and he began laughing, a horrible laugh. Putin joins in and says, I see both laughing. Kim Jong-un says, then Vladimir Putin, we shall join your coalition. Thank you for your generous offer and for all the advanced technology and weaponry that Russia has been so willing to help us with. North Korea shall rise to be a strong nation. Then it is done, Putin asks. Yes, Vladimir, it is done. North Korea shall join you, and the other nations gathered against the United States, and I shall enjoy watching her burn. Then the vision disappears, and it's gone. Vicki says, Jesus, help us. Jesus says, all is set, daughter. I heard him respond, all is set. Prepare your heart in me, daughter of faith and grace and mercy alone. It's sad. I do not take joy in bringing any of this to you, and you don't take joy in telling others. But at the same time, go read Ezekiel 33:6. We're obligated. We're obligated to. If we don't, there's consequences to us. I don't like the fact that America is falling, but I do like the fact that God has warned us, and as the judgment hits, so will his miracles. There's a great revival coming, and I hope the revival is very soon, and I hope the judgment is very, very long. I don't want to see this judgment come, but I do want to see the souls and the miracles come. Get prepared, my brothers and sisters. Ask Jesus to forgive your sins. I suggest you not only go to prophecyclub.com, you not only want to just get this book here, which is what we're talking about today, God's Warnings to America. One's $20, but don't get one. Get 5 for $30. That's a better deal. That way you got 4 to give away your friends. Because you start reading this, you're going to want to give it away to other people. Now, here's a better deal. So I've written 4 of these books. I wrote this one. I wrote Daniel, Tribulation Secrets of Daniel, and Miss the Mark, and also Understand Bible Prophecy, Secret Door. I compiled this one. These are prophecies that I gathered from these people, though I think there's only one from me. So, I mean, I didn't write it. I just compiled it, printed it, paid for it to be printed so that you can have a copy of it. However, what the very, very best deal, I think maybe the best we've ever had at the Prophecy Club in 30 years, this one is How Pre-Trib Won. This one is explaining to you how the truth beat the lie. How is it that the truth of the fact that there's not a pre-trib rapture lost the match, and everybody believes there's going to be a pre-trib rapture? How did that happen? And then I also go in and give you the scriptures very plainly and simply, lay it out for you, and I show you why there's not going to be a pre-trib rapture. Then this book is the Tribulation Secrets in Daniel. It's where I take verse by verse part of Daniel. Don't need the whole book. This is the part of Daniel that as a last days Christian, you need to know and understand. Then Miss the Mark. This has actually turned out to be a very, very popular book because the whole point is to convince people not to take the mark of the beast. Now, Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy, this one is, it's not complicated, but it's deep. This is teaching you how to understand Bible prophecy. Whereas Miss the Mark, this is for the person that maybe not even a Christian. They're certainly not a prophecy student. They probably don't know much about the Bible at all. But this one is a book that you hand to someone. You don't know about the mark of the beast? Well, here, read this. And if they'll read the first page or two, they won't put it down. They'll read the whole thing. And if they read the whole thing, whatever happens, they will not take that mark of the beast. And it has pictures of what the mark of the beast actually looks like. And as a matter of fact, we're in the process of getting it also translated into Spanish. It took me about 20 minutes to make these 2 loaves in my kitchen at an ingredient cost of about $12 each. In a time of food shortage and emergency, I'm going to cut each one of these loaves into 14 slices. Eat a slice in the morning, in the afternoon, I'll be satisfied. You want long-term food storage? You want to cut your food costs? Here it is. Eat 2 whole wheat bread slices daily for about a year for about $800 each. JosephKitchen.com's wheat berries come in a nitrogen-infused 7-gallon pail for long-term storage. Most other emergency food costs about $10,000 per person per year. That's right, about $10,000 per person per year. But at Joseph Kitchen, you could do it for about $1,000 per person per year. Now, to get started at JosephKitchen.com, you're going to need a machines package. That's going to give you the grinder, the bread machine, the knife slicer, all you need to make bread, and then you decide how much food you want to get. You want food 6 people 1 year, 4 people 1 year, 2 people 1 year, or just 1 person for a year, all at JosephKitchen.com. About $1,000 per person per year at JosephKitchen.com. Use the promo code Prophecy Club. Get you a $50 discount. JosephKitchen.com, promo code Prophecy Club for a $50 discount on your first order. Leslie Johnson had a prophecy back in 2011. She says, the Lord says there's going to be something put into the water supply in many cities of the nation. People will begin to get sick, some will die. Get a good, reliable water filter. You will not be able to trust the tap water or the bottled water. You must get something to filter the water you are going to need. That's back in 2011. So if you want it, we suggest you go to prophecyclub.com. You click right here where it says Berkeys. This is what it looks like. Currently, all Berkeys are in stock. The one I have is this guy right here. It's the Crown. It has 8 filters. I recommend you get as much as you can afford, and also recommend you get some extra filters. That's at prophecyclub.com. Terry Saka, Cornerstone, metals.com. So why should people go online or call you today?
Seymour Hersh, an amazing investigative journalist, laid out the case that the United States is the one that blew up the Nord Stream pipelines, hurting our very own allies. That is a nation that is desperate because their currency is on the verge of losing reserve status. That's not good for our United States dollar, and why we better be protected.
Terry Saka, Cornerstone, metals.com. Give him a call or go online today. Cornerstone, metals.com.